So the next part of the training that I want to go through is looking at how to actually do a composite layup definition in the ANSYS Composite Preprocessor. So I'm going to take you through start to finish of different things that you need to do for your structure to then bring that composite definition into a structural analysis. This is the real kind of bulk of this training, looking at the ACP preprocessor. So we have our geometry, we have our mesh and fabric shapes, and we're fed it into the preprocessor. This is where we're going to define our layup order, our fabric shapes, our reinforcement areas, feed that into our simulations, and then post-process it through the ACP post-processing module. The first step before we can actually do our composite definition, layup definition, is we need to choose some engineering data. So we need to go through and specify which materials we're actually going to use in our structure. So you can either use the library that's available in ANSYS Workbench. This has got a lot of different materials, unidirectional, woven, carbon, glass, and also a lot of the sandwich materials. Or you could do testing on your own materials. That's obviously quite time consuming, expensive. One of the other options that you have is this Military Handbook 17 2E. It's a massive database of different polymer matrix composites that have been tested by the US Department of Defense. It's readily available online, totally free. It's got all of the mechanical properties for different combinations of matrix and fiber material. So these are commercial products. So if you don't have time to do the testing yourself, you could go through this document and try and find your combination of materials, and you should be able to get some of the key material properties. So the ANSYS Composite Preprocessor, ACP Pre, it's designed to fairly closely follow the design process that you would use in real life to make a composite material. And that is, you choose the fabric that you're going to use, which material is it going to be, you say what shape is this fabric going to have, excuse me, and where am I going to place it on my structure, and then I'm going to say, well, am I building up my composite on this side of my structure or within my structure? So if I have a female mold, I'm building inwards. If I have a male mold, I'm building outwards. And then also, what's my ply fiber direction? Am I going to have it aligned? Am I going to rotate it by 45 degrees? And then also the sequence of different plies in my material. That's the process that we're going to follow throughout ACP Pre to build our composite definition. So inside ACP Pre, the first thing that we need to do is we need to specify the materials that we're going to use. We already have the mechanical properties. We now need to turn it into a fabric itself. And the main thing that we need to do is specify a thickness per ply. So in this case, I have a woven carbon epoxy composite, and it's 1 millimeter for every ply that I have. One of the things that we can also do is go up to this analysis tab within the fabric properties and generate these property polar plots. So what this is showing, this red line, is the modulus in the transverse direction. This is obviously a woven fiber, so it's exactly the same as the modulus in the longitudinal direction, and it shows that as we align our material 45 degrees, it's going down by about 25%. If we see over here, this is a unidirectional fiber. If we have a slight misalignment, we reduce our Young's modulus by a pretty significant amount. So these type of plots are a really good way of just checking what type of fabric we're applying to our structure. One of the things that we can do at this stage is, if we've got our fabric, we've got a single ply of our fabric, but if we generally apply it in a specific layup combination, we can actually specify that into what's called a stack up. So when we go to apply this to our structure, we can always apply it 2 layers at a time, 4 layers at a time, and it can be a really efficient way of laying up a really complicated structure or a really big structure. Or if you're always doing these combinations, it's just more efficient. So in this case, we're taking our single fabric layer, and we're saying generally we're going to do 0 degrees, 45 degrees, so 2 plies at a time. And this is the corresponding polar plot. Instead of having those lobes, now it's completely circle, so it's quasi-isentropic in plane. So the modulus isn't going to actually change with alignment if we have this specific layup combination. Working our way down the list, we have our material data sorted. The next thing is to specify rosettes. So I mentioned earlier, rosettes are reference orientations for specific areas of our structure. So when we're talking about a 45 degree ply orientation, what's the reference direction that I'm specifying that 45 degrees from? And that's going to be specified by our rosettes. So this is what a rosette looks like. Cartesian, for this one it's a Cartesian coordinate system, and it's got a red, green and blue direction. So those are schematically here, these are set up if you were using a unidirectional composite. So the red arrow is our principal direction, that is our fiber direction. The the blue arrow is our transverse direction, so that's normal to the fiber direction. And then the green one, our third principal direction, is the thickness direction. So we need to align these rosettes to follow this this coordinate system layout on our structure. So you can see here, these yellow arrows are our fiber direction. It's going to follow our red one for a 0 degree ply. So to specify our rosette, to create a new rosette, a couple of different things that we need to do. We need to specify its location on our structure, and all we need to do for that is specify our origin. We can click on the structure for that, and then we need to reference directions 1 and directions 2. So this can be done with vectors, or it can be done on the structure. I'll show you both of them. But we just need to specify what's our 0 degree based on our red. So if we do this combination, we have an orthogonal down our orthogonal coordinate system. We have our fiber direction running straight down this structure, transverse straight across it. But if we do this combination where we have our reference direction at 45 degrees, all of a sudden our fiber direction is going to follow that. In certain circumstances, a Cartesian coordinate system isn't going to properly capture the composite that we're trying to fabricate. This can be for things like cylindrical components, where we don't have orthogonal kind of directions. We have a radial distance and then a circumferential direction. So this is a really good example of an exhaust manifold, exhaust kind of distributor, sorry. We want our fiber directions to actually go around this circular component because we're going to wind it. So what we need to do in this circumstance is use a cylindrical rosette. So that's one of the options there where you would set your red direction in the radial, and then we're using kind of the right hand rule with the third principal direction for our winding direction. When we're getting into some more complicated structures, we might want our reference direction to follow a specific edge. So this is a really extreme example where we want the fiber direction to always follow this grey line. So this is where you would use something called an edgewise rosette. So you're specifying a rosette, and then you're also applying it to an edge to follow. This is on that exhaust component again. We want to wind it. We want to wind around this circular structure, but we also want that winding to follow this red edge. So this is where you would use an edgewise rosette. The next component in defining a composite layup is to specify the fabric shapes. And a lot of this has already been done in the name selections that we specified in mechanical. So anything that was specified there is going to be pulled through into ACP as a possible fabric shape. All we need to do is combine that fabric shape with a reference direction, with a rosette. And we're going to combine these two parts of the information in the orientated element set. So to create this orientated element set, we need to select an element set. So this is the fabric shape. This is under the element sets heading in the model tree. We specify the fabric shape into our orientated selection set in this case, sorry. And then we need to set an orientation direction. So I've just set a point, but you can see this this pink arrow. This is specifying our thickness direction. So whether I'm building up my composites thickness on top of a surface or underneath a surface. So the thickness will be built up in the direction of this arrow. And then this is a good example of it. So if I've got this this pink arrow facing upwards, my plies are built up in that direction. I can easily flip it around and build them onto the inside of that direction, inside of that surface. Lastly, bringing all that information together in a modeling group, we need to specify the orientated element set, aka the fabric shape. We need to specify which material we're going to apply to that area, and then apply orientation. In this case, we're going to apply a woven fabric at a 45-degree orientation onto our bonnet. So we just repeat that process, build up our structure's thickness. This is a completed model. You can see that we've built up our thickness to various degrees using a combination of different fabric shapes, fabric thicknesses, and ply orientations. So I mentioned this earlier, there's a couple of graphical tools inside ACP to help us understand the composite layup in quite a detailed manner. Because the fiber orientations are so important, we need these tools to have a really good understanding of what's going on in our structure. So this little toolbar up the top with the colored arrows, what we can do, this bright green one will specify your 0-degree fiber direction. Sorry, your fiber direction. In the case that it's a 0-degree orientation, this will show the direction of the fibers. If we do it at 45, all of a sudden this same structure, this fiber direction has changed, and then obviously 90 has changed again. So I mentioned this earlier, in one of the key complexities of composites is accounting for the effects of draping. That is, trying to force this fabric over the shape of your structure. And this can have some effects on the material, including wrinkling and changes in fiber orientation. So if we originally have a 090, maybe a woven fabric, and we're placing it over this curved structure, when we actually force it down over that structure, we're going to have areas where the alignment of those fibers is going to change significantly. And we need to understand what is that change of fiber orientation so that we can account for that in the expected strength of the component in that area. So this is a really good example of it. So we have a 090 orientation at the top, but by the time we've pulled this material down across this curved surface, you can see just how misaligned the fibers are in this direction. And this is a corresponding simulation in ACP. You can see that the fiber orientation is really good at the top, and then as we come down here, we've got this area of red. This is showing the amount of fiber shearing, aka the change of fiber alignment. So to actually activate this draping, we need to go to our modeling ply group, select this draping heading, and we need to select a seed point. This is the first location on our structure where we put down the fabric, and we're going to spread that fabric out from that location. So you can see we'll generate this mesh, and it'll show us the amount of change in fiber orientation. We can also visualize this from the arrows that I showed you, just how much the fiber orientation has changed. One of the other cool things that we can do with this draping algorithm is actually export the shape of the flat material that we would need to cut to then place over that surface. So we can, this red line, if we place that over the surface, it's going to properly and accurately cover that material, cover that structure. We can export this as a DXF. We could give that to a CNC cutter to then cut out the fabric shape. So at this point, we've got our structure set up. We've accounted for whatever kind of things that we want to account for in our layup, and we can actually then bring it through into our FEA analysis. So I'm going to show you this in a demo. I think it's a lot more illustrative of doing it in person and following that process and showing you the different stages that we need to go through for our layup.